thing that's so interesting is that people that go on these diets, when they go off, they gain weight and even more because your body, I mean, to diet.
Right.
I mean, to diet means to me, that means that you take away as many calories as possible.
Right, and I definitely try to see it differently with my clients.
Good.
I try to show them that these are life changes that one can make, so that if one is eating very well, really nourishing oneself on a regular basis, so when you go to that Christmas party and you accidentally eat that piece of cake, it's not going to make you blow up. You're not eating those things on a regular basis, and that's what's important. Is really teaching people to nourish themselves. It's about who they are inside. If Buddha came to dinner, you would make Buddha this incredible spread. But so why don't we nourish ourselves that same way?
Well, give us an example of an incredible spread, according to you.
Incredible
Oh,
spread.
God, it's
Wow.
going to be awful.
Would be something, I love soups,
No.
something
You love
made
what?
with soup. Soup is a
okay.
wonderful starter, something made with homemade chicken broth, just like our grandmas used to make. They knew what they were doing. Some fresh vegetables, just a small amount, a nice fresh vegetable salad, raw vegetable salad, and something unusual and creative like cabbage or beet salad. It doesn't even have to be greens, although at the farmer's market you can get some great greens there. Would have a meat dish, and not, for instance, something like roast beef, and not where the fat's been cut off the top, but where there's a nice layer of fat so you can make some good gravy, because those gravies are a very nourishing part of eating. They contain substances that help our digestive process. There would maybe be some sourdough bread.
Sounds great. I thought you were going to talk about other awful vegetables like cooked broccoli and cabbage.
Well, those are great too. Those are if
really?
they're well cooked, they can be delicious. Yeah, and don't forget a nice slab of butter on the bread.
So you really do believe in cholesterol?
I do. All of our hormones are synthesized from cholesterol. If we're not getting enough cholesterol in our diet, and this is proven, we are grumpy, we're more prone to suicide and violent acts, and it really doesn't help us. People with extraordinarily low cholesterol, like 80, 90, which, you think, oh, I wish my cholesterol was that low. But these are AIDS patients and cancer patients whose cholesterols have gone that low, whose bodies are really struggling. We need that cholesterol in our body. And 85% of the cholesterol found in our blood is synthesized in the liver from sugars that we eat, from carbohydrates.
Do you keep sugars out of your diet?
Mostly.
Do you really?
I do.
What about your children?
I try really hard. And I don't like playing police, but sometimes I do.
What can you substitute for sugar?
Well, it depends on what you're making. There are some healthy versions of sugar. There's something called rapadura, which is evaporated cane juice, and that can be used sparingly in baking. For instance, if I'm baking a cake for my children's birthday, I'm not going to not make them a cake, but I'm going to frost it with real whipped cream and line blueberries or strawberries or raspberries around it, whatever happens to be in season. Honey is a wonderful, wonderful substance, been used as a medicine for millennia. Maple syrup is also wonderful, but again, everything in moderation. Don't want to go overboard, even on the natural sweeteners.
Because I would think, like junk food to me, I mean, I try not to eat it, but if I had my one favorite dish of the world, it would be Kentucky Fried Chicken. Isn't that awful? People, my friends who are so diet conscious, they just can't believe it, but it tastes so good.
And I'll tell you why it tastes so good.
Yeah, tell.
Because the secret ingredient in Kentucky Fried Chicken is MSG. It's monosodium glutamate. And monosodium glutamate is addictive. It makes you want to go back for more and more. And it is the secret ingredient in McDonald's French fries, in Campbell's soup, in Kentucky Fried Chicken, in Arby's roast beef, in a lot of processed foods, soups. You can go to the grocery store, start reading the labels, and they're sneaky. MSG is not only listed as MSG on the labels, it's listed as spices, natural flavorings, hydrolyzed vegetable protein. They sneak it in all sorts of ways.
And they say Chinese food, which is so good,
yeah,
is full of it too.
It is, and Chinese food kind of gets a bum rap for being high in MSG. It started, the Chinese food syndrome started when people were getting headaches after eating Chinese food, and it's because of the MSG. So, and what scientists do when they want to make a rat or a mouse fat, they give them MSG. They give a newborn rat or newborn mouse MSG. So you put MSG in baby food, sure, the children eat a ton of it, but then they're obese for the rest of their lives and they can't figure out why. And this is part of the reason we have such an epidemic of obesity in our society.
Well, Jennifer, I mean, it's so confusing today, don't
Sure
you
is.
think?
Absolutely.
I mean, people are just fascinated
It's crazy.
with food and dieting.
Yeah.
And there are all these different kinds of, you know, fad dieting.
Yes, yes.
But you know what I understand? I've never really been fat, so I haven't, thank God, had that problem. I've had other problems, but not that. Weight Watchers.
Yes.
They say that really works. How do you feel about Weight Watchers?
I think it's one of those diets where there's a lot of processed food. It might cause you to lose weight initially, but you really have to count your calories, and it's also not particularly nourishing. I think we are much more apt to lose weight, and just not only lose weight, but just become much more healthier individuals when we eat fresh food. I mean, the Mountain View Farmers Market here is incredible. We go every Sunday to the Mountain View Farmers Market. We bring our children's little red wagon. We fill it up with fruits and vegetables and cheese and fish and meat and whatever we need for the week. And you can get everything there, and it's wonderful.
Do you believe that diets do either make you healthy or unhealthy? I mean, that's such a general question, but I mean, so many people just think it's all in your head and that you just eat what you want and keep your stress lowered and do yoga and meditate and you'll live to be 100.
Some people might. You know, my great-grandmother, it was rumored that she practically smoked cigars and drank her bourbon every night. She lived to be 97. So it's hard to say.
It's very hard to say.
One can't judge. Everyone is so individual.
But